Well, good morning, almost afternoon. Breakfast with the broker every Tuesday. I know we normally start at 9 a.m., but we have a very special guest. So we wanted to really put in the tease to you. So we thank you very much for your patience and appreciate all the viewers and such. And guess what? RIS Media Newsmaker Awards come out, I believe, this week. They were supposed to be before the end of January, but it should be this week. So hopefully Breakfast with the Broker was nominated for the third or fourth year in a row. So, without further ado, and now, by way of Gilmer, Texas, she is a realtor at Nolan Properties LLC. She is a graduate of both Texas Tech and Texas A&M in agriculture, communications, and journalism, completing her master's at Texas Tech University. She is the owner of Bethany Nolan Consulting LLC, a full-service social media and digital marketing consulting firm with over 21,000 followers on Instagram and 12,000 followers on TikTok. Stand up and make some noise for Bethany for Reals Nolan.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. How are you this morning?
Very well. So my marketing director Roxanne, said, "Listen, we got to get this girl on. She does really great reels, and she's really killing it on TikTok, and for real estate and such. And so it really is a pleasure for you to come on here, and thank you very much for coming on."
Hey, I appreciate it. I enjoy doing it. I do it for education, and it's great to be noticed on it as well. So I like to give back to the community a little bit in that aspect.
That's awesome. So, let's kind of understand what a reel is, right? Because all the time social media come out with these trigger words or these words to describe something, and you know realtors need sometimes to simply digest what is a reel.
So a reel is basically a short video. It's about 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds. They just moved it to where you can be more than 60 seconds, but it's just a quick snippet. It can be similar to TikTok or in the old days, Vine, where it's just a short snippet of a video. And it's really up to your own creativity what you do with it. For me, what I do is I use it as an educational tool in real estate. So I explain the home buying process, what do you need for closing, and all of that, all while being fun. I'm not really dancing or doing anything crazy. I try to show my personality a little because I've realized through pictures and through my properties, no one gets to know me. So this has been a fun way to help people see how I am as a real estate agent, but also educate buyers, sellers, and other realtors. I get a lot of realtors that message me and go, hey, don't know any of this stuff. Thank you. I'm learning new tools. So that's just a short little video is a reel, but similar to TikTok, but reels are only on Instagram.
Awesome. So when you look at when Facebook came out, right? And there was two schools of thought. One, when the business pages came out, it was, business should be business and personal should be personal, or you commingle both of them, right? And I was always a believer that, I wanted to show my authenticity, right? My genuineness, my sincerity. And, I didn't want to separate, business from personal because I wanted people to get to understand me.
Mhm.
This is an opportunity really to, as you said, and whatnot, is that you really want to show your authenticity or show your personality, because imagine those people gravitating to that personality and that more connection on a business level would be great.
Yeah, it's been a good way to kind of mix in the personal with the business. I kind of battled at the beginning with do I mix, do I keep a separate personal, do I keep a separate business page? But I'm learning as I've increased in my following, people want to see my personal life. They want to know and be a part of that. And they want to feel like they're on this journey with me. So it is a good way for them to get to know me. And for I didn't do these videos to get leads or referrals, but it's turned into it. I have agents that are like, hey, you look like you would be a great fit for my clients moving to East Texas. I'm handing them to you. So it has its benefits down the road, but I didn't do it with that intention.
I mean, we're all sales and marketing companies now, right? So,
Absolutely.
and we have a platform that only, the big advertising campaigns or companies have had for so many years, and, obviously, they do it at a very high level, and, certainly you do it at a very high level. Let's talk about reels and, you know, how much do you dedicate as far as time goes? Maybe what platforms you are using to create those reels, and kind of maybe some tips and tricks to agents that are watching now.
Absolutely. And stop me if you want to dig deeper into anything I say as I go through it. So, when I first started, I started with about 2 reels a week just because it didn't feel overwhelming. And I only started doing reels probably back in May. So, I haven't been doing them that long, which they haven't been around that long either. But now I do, for the month of January, I did one a day. And the way I have planned it out is I mark 1 or 2 days a week where I feel pretty and I feel presentable. And I film about 2 to 3 reels. And how do I sector that up as well is that I consume a lot of content. I watch a lot of reels. I follow a lot of content creators. So it's not that I follow a lot of realtors per se for inspiration. I follow marketing and social media channels to get ideas from them so that I feel like the realtor side of it is authentically me and I'm not copying it from other real estate agents so that it's very genuine content. And I save what I like. I save what I think would be great inspiration. And then when I feel ready, I just get my little ring light set up. I do about 5-ish takes, 5 to 10 sometimes, and I save them all. Everything I do, and then I leave it. I come back to it a couple hours later, maybe a couple days later, and that's when I start sectoring it down. I start editing, adding content, and adding the caption with it. So, one thing I do is I don't just do a cute, pretty little video and let that be my educational tool. I get nitty gritty in my captions, whether it's stats, whether it's numbers, whether it is a full process breaking down what I said in a short video. I really take the time to do that, but I kind of space it out so it feels well thought out and it's not done very last minute or very quickly. And I take inspiration from everywhere. I keep notes in my phone as I have first time home buyers. And when I hear the question asked more than 3 times, I realize other people have that same question. So I write it down. So if they're like, wait, what's earnest money again? Cool. I should probably pin that down and make sure that I focus on that. And for example, I'm on a board for our local realtor association. We were talking about how a lot of people don't understand the title process of once your contract gets there. And so I intend to get a little more nitty gritty. And the intention of with my reels, I did one a day in January, was I did a variety of content. So now I am taking this back and I am saying what delivered and what didn't, and what did people share and save. And I noticed what people shared. We like the funny ones, of course, but the nitty gritty ones that are like, hey, this is kind of the ratio of if you're going to save, or this is how much home you can buy if you want to calculate it yourself. And it's where I really get detailed on the educational aspect. So I'm going to dive deeper into that in February.
That's awesome. A lot of people say, what YouTube might, hold on, I think I have a little feedback. 1 second.
Mhm.
Sorry. You can hear that feedback, right? Oh, no, I can't. So, it's funny because you look at it and people say, well, YouTube should be the platform, or Facebook should be the platform, or whatever. And, when you look at YouTube, 10 things, to do in Gilmer, Texas, right? Or 10 things, to do in an area, or, best schools, in the area, or best parks and this kind of things. But, we're consuming so much information every day, and so much, like, it's 24/7, really. And all of a sudden, people want short little things. They want to be able, like you said, look at your captions, understand that, oh, you know what, I need to save this, or, I want to watch this back because this is a good reel, on, how to relocate to Gilmer, Texas, or, whatever, South Florida, whatever it is, right? I think that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about, though, we, like, I know why I did this Facebook Live, right? I did this Facebook Live so I didn't have to edit. Like literally, it was a laziness, right? It was like, there's no way. I know that if I'm gonna edit, like forget it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I did Facebook Live because I'm like, hey, here we are, and if I mess up, well, whatever. But it's interesting because you mentioned edit, and people usually run away, right?
Mhm.
What do you do to edit? Are you just using the Instagram, functions and such, or are there other things that you use in order to create your reels?
I really use the Instagram app primarily. I'm not trying to overcomplicate anything. I do have apps like Splice and Canva that I do utilize to help with it. But for the most part, Instagram has really set you up with tools for success on how to do it. There are great content creators that will give you how-to videos as well if you want to amplify the look of it. But for the most part, the tools are there, the resources are there. The only time that I really use Splice even is I am eventually trying to switch over to YouTube. That is my goal this year for 2022, is to really dive deeper into YouTube because I just don't do it. That's not been my focus. I've built my Instagram following. TikTok, I only have 1,200, not 12,000, but I wish. I'll put that
Oh,
in
I'm
the notes.
sorry. I
But
looked at it. Sorry about that.
my goal is to build that, but I create separate content for TikTok and separate content from Instagram because I don't want the same follower not to follow me on both. I want them to come for unique content. But YouTube Shorts, I use Splice to edit those. And then Canva, sometimes you can do cover photos on your Reels. And so I like an aesthetically pleasing page. Some people don't care. That's just my vibe. But they're switching over Reels. I just saw a note this morning on a content creator's thing that they're going to switch it to where you move in your videos like they do on TikTok. So I may take away all of my cover photos. So it is just dependent on where Instagram's direction is. But I really don't utilize a lot of editing apps. It's not, for me, I say it's not that deep.
Right.
Just make the video and go. And a lot of people ask me, where do I start? What do I do? Just make one easy worded video. You can slow it down to do the wording and add a little caption, add a little content, and it doesn't have to be that deep.
Yeah, it's like the saying, "Do you," kind of thing. It's because a lot of times, people are like, "Oh, well, I need a script, I need to prepare, and I need," no,
Just
just
do
act
it.
like you're talking to someone. Like we've been harping on video for a very long time now, and obviously more and more people are becoming engaged into video and such. But there's still a lot of people that just say, "Oh, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I don't know what to do." Honestly, and I look at and I follow like Gary V and all those those people. It's just you have to just do it and document everything because
You
people
have
want to see.
you have to make it yourself. There are a lot of content creators. I love following Tom Ferry's people, but they
Sure.
all look the same.
Yep.
You look at them, they're all sitting at a table behind it with a beautiful camera talking, and I love it. I think it's aesthetically pleasing. I love the vibe, but that's not me. And it doesn't feel like, if my client was with me in person, it wouldn't feel naturally me. And so I've been teetering on the edge. What is my YouTube channel going to look like? Am I sitting at a table? Do I want to be like them? No. So I've got to figure out what works. But it's just important for people to realize that, just do the video. And for some people, video does not work. My father is my broker. He does land and ranch sales. He's not going to do a reel, plain and simple. It's not happening, but that his clientele doesn't want it.
Right. And,
So
and
it's just
and
the
it's in any marketing, right? You want to be consistent and you want to be geared to your niche market, whatever that market may be.
absolutely.
But it's a very good market. I know you mentioned quickly that you volunteer for your local association. What do you do?
I am chair of the technology committee this year, and I'm serving on the Young Professional Network.
Awesome.
So I'm excited. I've always sat on the committees, but there's a lot of things that I want to do in technology. So we're going to focus on education, and we're just doing one thing a month. Like, we're not making it too intense, but so for example, we're about to just put out an email that has all the best apps realtors should be using. Next, we're doing step-by-step what the title companies do once they get your contract. And we're just making it easy. We're going to do a panel for social media because a lot of brokers don't know the education that, for example, you can't share a Facebook post of another brokerage's listing without that broker's permission. And a lot of people get in trouble and they kind of get up in arms, but they don't know it's a rule. So we're
Right.
really going to hit educational aspects.
That's awesome. What's your local association?
Longview Area Association of Realtors, but I'm a member of multiple MLSs because
Awesome.
they're in small sections in East Texas.
So I happen to be asked told I'm the treasurer of our local association this year. So,
Awesome.
so I love the committee work. I love giving back and making a difference, and certainly through social media and through your TikToks and through reels and things of that nature, it really gets to see what your personality is, but who you like to work with too. Because has it been how long you been in the real estate business?
About 4.5 years. I started August of 2017, and we started Nolan Properties, I believe, August of 2019.
Oh, good. Right before COVID. Perfect.
Yes, it was like perfect timing. It worked well for us. It's been great.
Right. Yeah. You went remote straight out of the gate.
Well, it's a family-run business anyway, so it worked out. But yes, and
That's awesome.
long enough, but not that long.
So how's the real estate market in Gilmer, Texas?
So I'm all over East Texas. I'm in rural America, and I mean, it's just as hot as it is everywhere else. We have a lot of waterfront properties. We have a lot of lakes in East Texas. So those are hot, hot, hot. And we have a variety. We have a lot of people coming to retire in East Texas from the cities. A lot of people have figured out they can work from home. So they're moving back. So we don't have one specific clientele that's like congregating near us, but everyone's ready to come back and get a little bit of country life per se. A lot of people just want chickens in their backyard, and that's their form of country to them. But
yeah, it's amazing because land kind of, I don't know, was not as desirable, I would say, in 5, 6, 7 years ago. People weren't even looking at it. They were like, oh, why would I go ahead and buy and purchase land and build a house or build a farmland or area such. Why don't I just buy an existing one? And now that the whole mindset has changed because the cost of buying that resale is so much more expensive nowadays than it's ever been.
Land's expensive, and everyone wants it, and they're not making any more of it. So,
do you have a second home market as well?
So,
like absentee owners and that kind of thing?
Yes, that's really what our waterfront properties are. So a lot of people want those. We're not as much in the VRBO Airbnb phase yet. We're getting there. We have one personally, and it is booked, but people haven't gotten there yet. We're a little behind the curve sometimes in East Texas, so it's fun for me to follow other agents in other areas because I kind of get to be ahead of the curve when it comes to what's hot there, like Airbnb's VRBO. Learn a lot, but also with content. Not a lot of people do videos. Not a lot of people did professional photography until about 2 years ago in East Texas, which is wild to most people. But for me, I started that way because it was good for my channel to have professional looking photos. So we're just a little behind sometimes.
No, that's awesome. So I always end the interview on a couple of things. Well, look, I'll go back to one other thing. What are like 2 or 3 tips that you can give to someone starting out either on maybe TikTok or Reels? Because, or Instagram, the platform of Instagram is totally different than the platform, obviously, of TikTok, right? And it almost seems like the personality for TikTok, you could be maybe less conservative, a little not crazy, but I'm saying a little bit more risque or whatnot, right? So like maybe you can sort of, kind of curse or
Yeah.
ish, depending on it. And then you put on Instagram, and that's not really the platform to be doing that. Just give us like a few tips maybe as to do's and don't do's for both.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, what I said earlier, just consume. Really take in other content. Pay attention to what they're doing. What does their background look like? If you're going to do listicles, are you going to be in front of a blank wall? Consume, consume,
What's a
consume.
listicle?
A listicle is if you were saying the top three things to do in East Texas, and I list 1, 2, 3. And people love listicles because it's short, it's sweet, and it's concise. And I try to do a lot of those because it's just easier for people to take in. So consume content, save it, and go back to it. Don't save it and never go back. I would say also take in podcasts from marketing people, not just real estate, because they have the tools that we may not know about that other realtors aren't even using yet. So they give tips for hashtag finders and stuff like that that we don't even know. People use bots. I just search which hashtags work for me. And really research, look at blogs. I read a lot of blogs regarding real estate happenings and this and that that guides a lot of my content. And I use their listicles. You can reuse and recycle stuff as long as you put it in your own words and in your own twist. And if you're going to really mimic them, give them credit. If you're going to copy a real estate agent on their stuff, give them the credit because they gave you that resource. But that's really big, is consuming in my mind and taking it in. I'm consuming a lot of YouTube right now because that's my next step. I am seeing different ones and not just real estate. So I just want to know where I want my channel to go. And then lastly, I would just say to just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it. And that's me taking my own advice as well, because we all want it to look pretty and beautiful and professional and cut and clean. But you've got to start somewhere. I went back to one of my first reels the other day and I cringed. But you've got to start there to go back and see, hey, we've gotten there. I went from 0 followers, and I'm very proud to say it's all organic growth. I've never done giveaways. I've never done anything like that because I wanted my engagement to be strong on my channel. So that's something that a lot of newer agents really come in and they go, well, I've got to have a huge following, so they pay for bots. That will bite you down the road.
Yeah, it's funny because there's again two schools of thought. You could buy your followers and have all these impressions and stuff like that. Is it quality over quantity, or is it quantity over quality, right? So certainly engagement, I think, has become obviously a bigger deal these days. So I always end the segment on 2 questions, and I don't know if you're a streaming service kind of person, but if you are, what's your favorite streaming show or series of all time? And what are you currently watching?
Ooh, my favorite streaming show. I'm just like really boring real estate agent. I really love Million Dollar Listing. Like, it is a vibe. It gives me like Real Housewives-ish drama, but it gives me real estate and pretty homes, and they actually show the homes.
Yeah.
A lot of real estate shows are not showing it. I love it. I've actually been starting from the beginning of Million Dollar Listing LA and going back through. I enjoy that, and I'm just really lame to have no other hobbies than real estate. So that is
We had Ryan Serhant on the show right at probably in 2020.
awesome.
He was in he was in, I think it was Rhode Island, I believe, in his parents' place, or it might have been his wife's parents' place. But it was cool because he talked about New York City and what they're going through currently. And I think it was like March or April of 2020 we had him on.
Yeah. And then, I mean, one thing I'm currently watching, it's really lame, but I get FOMO if people are talking about something, and FOMO is fear of missing out. And if they're talking about it, I want to know what they're talking about. So like when people were all talking, I have clients talk about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I went and read the book so that I would know what they're talking about. So I've been going through the Marvel universe. And
Oh,
that is the biggest time commitment in the world. And I've been doing this for like a long time, but that's something that I am currently invested in. I'm almost done. I think I have like 4 more movies left.
that's very cool. Anyone who's watched Yellowstone, 1883 is really, really good. I like that show. So
Love that show.
that's what I'm currently watching now and up to date for now. Bethany, I really can't thank you enough. How do we get in touch with you? How do we follow you? How do we like your Instagram and TikTok?
Absolutely. On all accounts, I am at Bethany Nolan Realtor. So very easy to find me. If you have any questions, I always like to bounce back and forth ideas with people trying to get started. So feel free to DM me and share your reels when you make them. I love to comment. I love to engage with them. So I like to see what other agents are doing. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. This was so fun.
No, it's fun, and we will. So the way we work this is we will put this on a podcast as well, and we will send it out to our podcast subscriptions and stuff like that. So we appreciate it, Bethany. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful week, and Breakfast with the Broker every Tuesday morning. Next week we will be up at Tallahassee at Great American Realtor Days, talking to our legislators and lobbying with our legislators. And we will have the infamous Karen Johnson, who is the we'll interview her, but we will also give her an intro like we always do. Thanks so much. See you next Tuesday. Take care. Thanks, Bethany.
Thank you.